so I don't get fined. Any questions?
You have an outstanding home record. How can you take that energy on the road? It's just the opposite on the road.
Yeah, that's the next step, and we've been talking about that. I think we talked about it, in one of these press conferences before the USC game, that this team had taken care of things at home, and they needed to learn to carry forward. That was the next step of a young team, and we played really well in that game. We led most of the game. And then we had that 8-day break, and that's where Tony got down. And, on a team that's not deep and you don't have a lot of experience, that's a heavy blow going to Oregon and Oregon State, two places where they'd played really well at home. So we're without that. Now we get back home, we get Tony back in there, and we get back strength again, and we win two really big games, two teams that beat us prior. So now here we go to the road. Hopefully, we got a couple days yet to practice, but we can go away healthy. And that's the next step, and that's what we've been talking to this team about, that now you're in February. It's like freshmen shouldn't be freshmen anymore. Sophomores that are in different roles, those roles have been solidified now. So that's the next step, and if we want to do the things that we hope to do as the season unfolds here, you've got to be able to go on the road and have success. And so that's been the push in the locker room. That's been the push in practices. Our guys are practicing great. We've said it before, having Jonah ready to practice, having Juana back practicing, it gives us depth, and we're able to do some things in practice we weren't doing 6 weeks ago. And so hopefully we just keep getting better.
There's a stretch in that second half against Colorado where Bryce was on the bench. How do you think the team looked with
I thought they did a great job, and it's really the first time that's happened. Bryce has been extremely consistent all year, especially valuing the ball, taking care of the ball, getting us where the offense that we need to have ran. And he struggled to start the second half, and we ended up subbing very quickly, and I think that's a real tribute to Noah, because Noah, I think in this weekend, did a tremendous job coming off our bench. I thought he was confident. I thought he worked. He gave us some energy. We got a bump in the lead there. And then, so I think whether it's Bryce or whoever it is, when they can see that and see success of their teammates, then that helps them. It helps them relax. It gives them confidence. And we've been talking about that. And again, young guys have to go through that it's not building the confidence in self through self. It's building the confidence when you're in a team sport through team. And I think that's what we've seen in the last at least 7-8 days with our guys. They're really focusing on kind of the wealth and the good things of a team, and it's relaxed them a little bit more. And I thought Noah this weekend did a lot of good things for us.
Does that give you more confidence in being able to use Bryce off the ball or give him some rest?
Well, I thought we got that, and that's what we need to have, because a lot of Bryce's shots are really coming off ball screens, and we need to run him. We did that in the second half, then late in the game when we got him off the baseline again, and he got a couple wide open looks. He just doesn't get a lot of those. So, yeah, I think Isaac, what he's done in the last week and a half has been tremendous, especially at the defensive end. Isaac's building confidence not through just making shots, which he can do, but he's really becoming a really good defender for us. And what he did this last week, first on what he did in the Utah game, and then his performance against Booker, he built a lot of confidence. But he's handling the ball much better. He's being more aggressive with it, and that gives you a lot of freedom then to whether you want to play Bryce at 1, 2, but just free all the guys up. It's not just freeing one guy up, but it's having a little bit more versatility, and that's that confidence in one another. At least in this homestand, I felt like our guys built a little bit of confidence in one another, and we need that, especially now we got to go on the road.
How important is confidence for a guy like Isaac?
Oh, it's tremendous. I mean, I don't care if it's an individual, team sport. I've told the guys this. I'm an avid golfer. If I'm not making putts, it's on me. So you start thinking about it. Now, the more you think about it, and you start messing with your mind, the more you're going to miss putts. But it's on me. It's not on anybody else. It's not on. I don't have a teammate. I got to figure that out. I got to be tough enough to get across that 3-4 footer and do my normal thing, do my normal stroke, and know that thing's going to go in. In basketball, it's a lot different than that because it's a team, and so many times your confidence is built on, are you making shots? And that you're going to make more shots and better things are going to happen to you if you're really worried more about the success of your teammate. How do I get my teammate a better shot? How do I help a teammate defensively? And once you focus on that, then it opens up. You become a little bit more freer And that's what we look for. I told the guys the other day about, the quote by Arthur Ashe, one of the greats here at UCLA, talking about you got to be loose physically and tight mentally. There's a lot of truth to that, and that breeds confidence. So when you're loose and you play loose physically, but your mind is tight and you're really focused, that's when a lot of good things happen. So, but confidence is a fine line with athletes for sure, especially young athletes.
Is that what you're trying to drill into Isaac? I think last week you were talking about things he could do off the ball when he was kind of dragging a little bit because he wasn't the shots weren't going in. Is that what you're kind of trying to drill into Isaac?
It's little things. Like I told the guys yesterday in film, I'm like, guys, just from a personal standpoint, being a former player, there's a lot of things I'll really hit you home with when it comes to shooting because I got a really good feel on that. Playing above the rim, I got no feel. So you don't look for me for the experience of playing above the rim. I never did that. So I even showed them a highlight of Norman driving from the wing and dunking. I said, guys, I have no idea what that is. That's too far. That's a long landing for a guy like me. So I can't. But when it comes to shooting, yeah, you have to do the same thing every time. You have to. It's like the Michael Jordan pose. You have to stick that pose with follow through. When you leave, you land in the same spot. So I just try to help them with the mechanics of it and the fundamentals of it. And then mentally, I've always thought that's on the player. Being a former player, that's the mental side of it. It's my job as a player to prepare. It's my job to be tough, get beyond. If I miss a shot or I miss two shots, work harder to get a better shot. Work harder to get fouled where I go to the free throw line. Work harder to get a layup. Those type of things. And I think we've got some guys, and we're moving the ball better. If you look at home and road, at the home, the ball moves more. We get 4 or 5 passes a possession. On the road, if you look at ours, we're passing it once, twice. And that's one of the reasons why we're not shooting the ball very highly percentage-wise on the road. So we got to carry what we do offensively here at home to the road.
Is the offense working out of the half court a little bit more than maybe you expected with this team at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, we've just been slowed. When you get, we're playing one way, and when you get punched in the face by Kentucky, whether you want to or not, I think from a player standpoint, that hits you hard. And so we get into that losing streak, and we're not playing near if you look at what we did, just playing against Alabama, playing right after Kentucky, Alabama, even our first 2 conference games. Not so much the pace being slower, but the ball didn't move. The ball got stuck a lot on one side of the floor, and we took some ill-advised shots, and a lot of that was guys pressing, trying to do it all on themselves. And I think that's what young guys do. It takes a while to build that trust. Like comparing it to last year's team. Last year's team had a lot of guys that were on the year before, and we've said it before. Our first month and a half on the job, we didn't leave this campus. Our recruitment was of those guys, and we spent a lot of time with those guys. And so those guys built trust together, and you could see that. This team's taking a little bit longer to do that just because there's a lot of new pieces to it, and there's a lot of inexperience to it. And I hope, because we're starting to see that. We're really starting to see a team trust one another and trust everybody's abilities and roles much better than what I think was happening 6-7 weeks ago.
Is it easier to run out of the half court than pick up the pace when you have guys that don't necessarily have that confidence that comes with playing together?
Well, there's a fine line because one, we want to play fast, we want to play up tempo. It's our style. We like playing that way, and if you slow down, you take away your easy baskets. And basketball's always been about how can you create easy baskets, especially you get into league play. You get into league play. Everybody's scouted. You're seeing teams 2 times a year now. So you make adjustments. Coaches and players make adjustments. So it's harder to score. It's like playoff basketball in the NBA. You get in the playoffs, and all of a sudden these teams are running wild. It's half court. Because everybody's defense has gotten really good. And you're seeing that in our league as well. So you've got to be able to execute at half court, but it's still who can get the easier scores. Against Utah and Colorado, we got to the line more. If you look at what we've done in the Oregon trip, we hardly got to the free throw line. We got killed at the free throw line. You get our first 2 games, we gave up 11 baskets in transition to, I think, Utah, 10 to Colorado. That was cut in half at home. So those are half amount of the points that the opposing team's getting. Well, you want to get those things. So there's a fine line, and that's, again, under experience. As a player, I got to be able to run in transition and make the right plays, make simple plays. If not, I got to execute at the half court. And I think there was a stretch, 5-6 weeks ago where there wasn't that balance. It was just run, shoot, and not understand time, score, understand, okay, now we got to move it. We didn't score for 2 possessions. We got to move it 4 or 5 times, get it going inside out. I think that's why you're seeing us have more of an inside presence. Guys are learning that. Let's get the ball going to the basket more. We're getting fouled more, and we're getting some easier baskets that way.
Attendance has been down in the Pac-12 pretty much conference-wide. From your perspective, do you know why that is? Is it just TV? Is it
That's
the
hard.
conference?
That's hard to
Is it-
say. You know, somebody was telling me the other day, not so much about the Pac, but across the country. Somebody said across the country it was down, and I have no idea. You know, so many games are on TV now. You know, every one of our games are on TV, so I have no idea what that. I just knew that this conference is exciting. We've got, you know, you look at the players we got in this league. They're fun guys to watch. There's a lot of them that are offensive minded, and then there's a lot of guys that don't get credit for what they do defensively. So I think there's some great teams, and there's some good teams out here in the West. That's what's, you know, whether it's the Mountain West or it's, you know, it's Gonzaga and what they're doing. There are a lot of teams out here in the West that are very exciting to watch, but why that's down, I have no idea.
How much different is it to you just seeing how to attract fans to, say, New Mexico than it is to a place like this?
Yeah, you know,
LA?
it's a different it's a whole different clientele and climate. You know, I'm from Indiana, and it's 25 degrees, and they got, you know, snow on the ground, and, you know, so, you know, okay, let's go watch basketball. that state's been like that for a long time. You know, here my mom and dad are out, and, you know, my mom's having lunch at Gladstone's. Come on, it's different. There's a lot to do, and getting outside, and what we want to do is just continue to build a program that people will come and they'll see it, and they'll be excited about how our guys play. You know, do they play hard? Do they play unselfishly? Do they have fun playing? And those are things that we constantly talk about, and we're constantly trying to create. It's like I was asked today, you know, was it a distraction having the 65 team, having incredible teams that never got beat and won national titles at your game when you just beat Utah? And I'm like, yeah, it might have been to coaches, because we know the Goodriches, we know the great players of all times that are here and being honored. But to be truthful with our guys, they just thought the uniforms were cool. So it's, you know, whether it's a cool uniform or it's your style of play, or, you know, it's still about winning. When you win, you know, that cures a lot of things. And I think our guys are doing that at home. In a year that there is a transition because of the guys we lost, I think the guys are doing a great job. And if you come watch us play, it's good basketball. And the guys are competing and fighting and doing a lot of fun things. So I think it's a fun atmosphere.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.